Okay, let's take a look. So yeah, so far I think this is looking really great. Let's take a closer look in Maya at what's going on. Might just select something so it's easy to go to the next pose. So that's a pretty big jump there, and it's only over these few frames. So I think you're probably going to have to put more time in here to get the number of sort of poses you need to get from here to there, probably. Um, I like that. Having using the camera to help tell the story. That seems like a very long hold there. Um, so you might speed that up. So yeah, I mean, from the next steps, you're going to be putting in more your holds and you're in a lot of in between poses. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like with auto tangent because often that gives you a better sense of the timing than. Whoops, I didn't select everything. It's interesting. So yeah, watch it. Let me just check my animation preferences to make sure that I have this playing back at 24 frames a second. I do. So yeah, I mean, I kind of like the pace of that. You're gonna have to put in holds and all that. This, as I mentioned, looks really slow, and you can kind of even tell just looking at the timeline, all that space there. And then look how much this first movement goes, and then suddenly he's going really, really fast. And again, even just by looking at the timeline and the spacing there. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some timing adjustments. So, probably the first thing I do is go in and adjust some of the timings here. For example, you know, speeding this up a lot. I'm just going to hold down Shift, click and drag. I made sure I selected all controls and then move this back a bunch. And then probably this too. Holding down Shift and then dragging these back. But then yeah, slowing this stuff down a lot. So like between here and here, for example. I'd have to adjust the. Another way to put it, like, yeah, that's really fast there. Another way to do it is to go keys, add in between, and see how that pushes everything down. And if you hit G, it'll do the same again. So you can hit G, 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 and see how it pushed that all out. So that's like selecting and then dragging and moving. Um, it's interesting how much his arms are swinging here, but he's not moving that much. I wonder if is that because well no, everything seems to be sticking together. Yeah, I mean his take a look at in the graph his forward momentum, so that's going to be what? That's the x direction. So you can kind of see it's slower and then really fast and then slows down here and then fast. So, obviously at the beginning it should kind of gradually speed up, but then, this slows down and speeds up. Like, what I might even do is just take out all these in here, and then, that might be too straight, but what you'll see is kind of a more, he speeds up and then a more even pacing. Obviously, you gotta fix. Yeah, the legs are looking a little crazy when you look at them kind of from this view. So yeah, I did kind of screw up some of the. But yeah, they look like they're moving crazy fast. Those legs. I don't think you need that many steps to get to there. I think you should do kind of big leaps where both feet leave the ground. So I might kind of take another pass at these. And, you should always be looking at what it looks like through the shot camera. But it should kind of work on the perspective view too. Because once you see it moving in 3D and stuff like that, if it doesn't work from every view, you can cheat a little bit, but mostly it should work from any view. Although it should look the most right from this point of view, and you should mostly worry about that. But things shouldn't look sort of really off in the other views. So, yeah, I think the big thing is you have really good poses. I think the timing isn't right, and I think it's easier to see once you switch to auto tangents. So, work on the timing and get that really right, and then start adding your in-betweens and your holds. Adding some holds while you're doing the timing is going to help you too, though, because obviously it affects the timing of how long it takes to go to one pose to the next if he's holding for a while. So, like, for example, like maybe he goes, he goes, so I'll move, let me make sure everything's selected again. Maybe I'll give myself a little more time here. But so maybe he hits, to this, and then I'll middle mouse click here and hit S, and see that'll hold between here and there. And then maybe he'll hold on this, so middle mouse click here, which changes the time without changing the position. I'll hit S, and so now you have he moves, he holds, he moves, he holds, right? And then what you do is you turn these holds into moving holds, by kind of basically doing an in-between pose, but, just to get the idea across, I'll just do like this slight adjustment. So that's not great. I think, let me undo that. Just kind of keep it subtle. I would do more than that, like, let's go, spend your time doing, but a very subtle pose, right? Because it's a hold, so it shouldn't be moving much. Whoops. It should be, mostly staying still. So you just do some little subtle movements to kind of keep him alive in that hold. Maybe he takes a breath or whatever, in the hold, that kind of thing. So put in your holds as part of adjusting the timing, because obviously it's going to affect the timing, but I wouldn't start adding a bunch of in-between poses until you really feel like you got the timing right.